Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News, the headlines. The Zambia police urged to arrest perpetrators of political violence from 2015 to date. Zambia's resources are being controlled by colonialists, charges Fred Membe. Join me with the details after this commercial.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the...
She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
And now the midday news in detail. 3 teacher unions have urged government through the Ministry of Education to advance the education bar and compete favorably with international standards if Zambia is to attain 2030 goals of universal quality education for all. In an interview, Zambia National Union of Teachers Secretary General Newman Mobala notes that most public schools do not have libraries, making it almost impossible for pupils to study. Meanwhile, National Union of Public and Private Educators Executive President Victor Muyumba has called for an audit on some private schools to ensure that they subscribe to standards of quality education.
Commitment from the United Party for National Development UPND administration to improve the public education sector has been applauded by sector players, as this is one area that has lagged behind for many years, being characterized by the lack of infrastructure such as desks, teacher understaffing, as well as long distances to schools, especially in rural setups. The new administration has, however, promised to construct over 100 schools, recruit 30,000 teachers, and engage local carpenters to construct desk infrastructure. While noting the promised changes, 3 teacher unions are of the view that more needs to be done if Zambia is to achieve universal quality education for all by 2030. In an interview, Zambia National Teachers Union Zanut Secretary General Mr. Newman Mobala notes that most public schools leave much to be desired, as many of them do not even have libraries where pupils can study from, away from the classroom.
To see in public schools quality education in terms of pupil-teacher ratio. We also want to have a budget line in terms of materials, in terms of books, libraries coming through, so that our children now can be exposed and can be reading culture can improve.
In adding the voice of the National Public and Private Educators Union, NUPE's Executive President Mr. Victor Muyumba says there should be standardization of education in both public and private schools.
When you go there as an authority to check why they are paying their teachers 700 kwacha per month, they have an explanation. And they are telling the truth that according to what they get, that is what they can manage. Because at the end of the day, they have to buy also teaching and learning materials and do other affiliations. So that is what we need to avoid. It means that particular school must be handed over to government, so that the government can manage that school. The private school must be of some standard.
Meanwhile, Professional Teachers Union of Zambia Protus General Secretary Mr. Kangwa Msenga has also added his voice.
I can assure you that we are seeing light at the end of the day. If there will be much even more improvement in the 2023 budget, we are likely to start talking about achieving the education millennium goals and achieving the best even for the teachers themselves. Already teachers are motivated by the increments. It may not be what they thought it must be, but they are highly encouraged, and the upgrades is also encouraging to the teachers. The coming in of the new Teaching Service Commission has added the morale to the teachers. The depoliticizing of the Ministry of Education is part and parcel of achieving what we need in the education sector.
With only 8 years remaining for the realization of this goal, it remains clear that the task for the Ministry of Education is huge if to reach the target of ensuring universal quality education for all. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In other news, the United Party for National Development Alliance has blamed acts of violence against civil servants and other citizens by political party cadres on the alleged police failure to arrest perpetrators of the vice in the recent past. Alliance Secretary MMEMBE has called on Inspector General of Police Lemi Kajoba to arrest all those who committed similar crimes from 2015 to date to deter would-be offenders. Mr. Sumyembe tells Camnet TV News that President Hakainde Hichilema has been categorical on issues of violence, adding that the law will not shield anyone who will be found wanting.
In the recent past, cadreism was uncontrollable in the country, such that police were reduced to spectators watching political cadres conduct acts of criminality and hooliganism in the name of the ruling party. Well, it seems that there were some good students under the United Party for National Development UPND who have adopted the culture of abusing civil servants. They have opted to put the lessons into practice. Police have time and again come into conflict with some UPND cadres.
A foreigner stealing in our own country, Zambia will never be the same. And two, you guys, you are continuing frustrating our efforts. In the opposition, we are beating us the way you are doing it. You protect the PF, but now we are in government, you are protecting the foreigners. Sir, I am telling you that AIDS will roll on.
However, UPND Alliance Secretary Muyemba has blamed the continued attack on civil servants and other citizens by political cadres on alleged police failure to arrest those involved in the vice in the recent past.
This is atrocious and it's not tolerable. Please, Inspector General Kajoba, look into this. This is what is bringing up a lot of frustrations, because if that man was arrested and prosecuted, others would take heed that these are prosecutable offenses. Now they think it's fashionable because there's a precedence which has not been addressed. Others feel they can do the same. Once they are brought to book, they will say, what about that other one who was not prosecuted for doing such a similar offense like ours?
He has expressed concern that police have been slow dealing with such matters, hence the reason cadres think lawlessness is fashionable. He says those who break the law must not be tolerated regardless of their political affiliation.
Treat everybody equally and let equality before the law be seen to be done. This is very important. The president has been very magnanimous, he's been very open, and he's been very firm on insisting that anyone who commits a crime is on himself or herself. Today we are seeing suspected UPND cadres being prosecuted. We want to further ask the police to call and quickly arrest those who committed similar crimes from 2015 up to today, because today we are showing and leading by example.
However, Camnet TV News understand that police have taken action against some perpetrators in the recent past in order to uphold President Hakainde Hichilema's pronouncement to ensure that cadreism does not thrive. There is a need to be proactive in combating the vice. Patrick Soko, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, says there is need to stabilize variables in the economy such as exchange rates if the rise in the cost of living is to be stabilized. JCTR Executive Director Father Alex Muyebe says the basic needs and nutrition basket for Lusaka province in the month of January 2022 increased by over 608 kwacha, the highest in over a year. And JCTR Programs Manager Mundia Chama says the full implementation of the free education policy will aid in providing a cushion to households so far as meeting households' basic needs is concerned.
Though the Zambian economy has over the last month since the United Party for National Development UPND took over power shown some signs of recovery, in the area of the country's inflation rate, which has slowed down to 15.1% in January of 2022 as compared to 24.4% in August of 2021 when the New Dawn government took over power. The drop in the January 2022 annual inflation rate was attributed to price reduction in some food items. The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, has however indicated that the basic needs and nutrition basket for Lusaka province has increased to 9,049.25 ngwe for the month of January 2022 from 8,359.18 ngwe in the month of December 2021.
So you may be speaking of some savings, but at the same time, also the cost of living has increased and it continues to increase. So maybe what we are is purported to be savings is not savings after all. But we can't just speculate and say, well, this is the position until we've done a study. And actually that's one thing we should be doing as JCTR to establish exactly what is the impact of these policies at the household level.
A JCTR manager in the Social and Economic Development Programs, Chamaboa Mundia, has clarified why the country's inflation rate reduced for the month of January 2022 despite the cost of living having increased in the month under review.
So when calculating inflation rates, it is showing you that the inflation rate has gone down because they're just looking at the rate of change. But in actual sense, the price of the bag of tomato is going up, isn't it? So when ZAMBIA'S reports that the inflation rate has reduced, they're not saying prices have gone down. What they're saying is that the rate of change of prices has reduced compared to the previous period. So it's not a contradiction between what JCTR is calculating and what ZAMBIA'S is calculating.
And the center has since advised that there is need to stabilize variables in the economy, such as the exchange rate, if the rise in the cost of living is to be stemmed.
Such as the exchange rate is therefore critical if the rise in the cost of living is to be stemmed. The government, through the Bank of Zambia, must remain on the outlook. The kwacha has dropped from trading at about 16 kwacha to $1 in August 2021 to trading at about 18 kwacha to $1 at the beginning of February in 2022.
According to JCTR, one of the key issues relating to the cost of living in Zambia in January 2022 is the implementation of free education policy, which in the short term will provide a cushion to households insofar as meeting household basic needs, hence the need to ensure that free education is fully implemented. Prudence Jota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Socialist Party President Fred Membe has charged that Zambia is still being governed by the proponent of colonialism who are controlling mineral resources, thus affecting the country's ability to independently develop. In an interview with Camnet TV News, Dr. Membe notes that foreigners are influencing the country's mineral resource development, a move he says undermines Zambia's ability to grow. He says only socialism will truly bring psychological liberation and massive development through the empowerment of citizens to take over the affairs of their own country.
Most political parties in Zambia believe in capitalist democracy, with the Socialist Party speaking against capitalism. In Zambia, capitalism is based on individual initiative and favors market mechanisms over government intervention, while socialism is based on government planning and limitation on private control of resources. During the August 12 general election, the Socialist Party was among top 3 big spenders during the campaign period. However, the outcome was not as anticipated. Socialist Party leader Fred Membe has told Camnet TV News that capitalism in Zambia was birthed out of colonialism, hence it has failed to work to the fullest. He says capitalism has affected people's ability to get rid of fear and embrace self-reliance, but rather initiates people into the dependence syndrome to foreign-led initiatives innovations and aid.
The African still lives in fear with the low levels of self-esteem, low creativity. Everything we are looking to other people to do for us, to show us what to do, to tell us what to do, to tell us even how to govern ourselves. Even what we eat, what we wear. Even our culture, we have started abandoning it for other people's culture. Every day we are trying to decorate our futures, our tomorrows with other people's yesterdays. If you are trying to decorate your tomorrows with other people's yesterday, it means you'll never make progress. You'll never be better than them. You always pick up things that come from them that they have even stopped doing themselves. It's the same with governance.
Mr. Membe has charged that colonial masters are still governing Zambia by controlling mineral resources.
BSA. BSA was taken over by Anglo, owned by the Oppenheimer family. The Oppenheimer family today have set up a foundation, the Brent-Hest Foundation, to deal with governance issues. They have been supporting the UPND here. They have been supporting MDC in Zimbabwe. They have been supporting DA in South Africa. They are supporting Bobby Wine in Uganda. For what? To perpetrate their interest in minerals. So we have agents of corporate entities governing us. This is how the capitalist system functions.
It says socialism is better than capitalism because it gives power to the people to have control over their resources and their development agenda.
The poverty that we endure today, the humiliation that we endure today, the exploitation that we endure today, the underdevelopment that we're enduring today is as the result of the system, the capitalist system. For us to develop, we have to be independent of it and start doing things for ourselves. We should be able to see things for ourselves, analyze things for ourselves, come at our own conclusions, arrive at our own conclusions on our own. We have to start acting in self-interest, not in the interest of other people. If we don't, we will never develop. We will never get out of poverty. We will never cease to be marginalized globally.
Whether or not Zambians are embracing socialism, only time will tell, and the right time will be in 2026 as Zambia conducts the general election. Patrick Soko, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
The Zambia police urged to arrest perpetrators of political violence from 2015 to date. Zambia's resources are being controlled by colonialists, charges Fred Membe. Thank you for watching. Those are the headlines. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Good afternoon.